Welcome to Waz on Wire. Today we're talking about quite a significant political challenge that's been making some waves recently. The Malaysian Chinese Association Youth, MCA Youth, has openly challenged the DAP Socialist Youth, DAPSY, to a public debate.
Right, and not just any debate. The topic they've proposed is, well, it's pretty pointed.
Exactly. It's when MCA or DAP is in power, the future of Chinese Malaysians is better. That's really putting it out there, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It goes beyond just a typical political back and forth.
Yeah, it feels like it's really asking everyone to look closely at how these parties approach things like governance, community representation, the fundamentals, really.
Precisely, and the way MCA Youth framed it, that specific wording suggests they really want a direct comparison.
A head-to-head on who serves that community better, essentially.
Yes. It's a strategic move, I think, to push DAPSY to, well, lay their cards on the table, defend their record, articulate their vision on this very sensitive ground.
Creates a clear choice, or at least that seems to be the intention.
That's likely the goal, yes.
Uh-huh.
Put it starkly for public consideration.
And MCA Youth didn't just stop with the challenge itself. They also brought up some questions about DAPSY's recent actions, their statements.
They did.
Like, they mentioned being puzzled, maybe that's the word, about DAPSY seeming to echo comments from PAS, the Pan-Malaysian Islamic Party.
Ah, yes. The calls for MCA to leave Barisan Nasional and the unity government.
Right. And MCA Youth even hinted at, what was the phrase? Like an old flame rekindled between DAPSYs and PAS based on that echo.
Well, that's certainly a loaded suggestion, and it's a key part of MCA Youth's counterattack, isn't it?
How so?
By linking DAPSY even rhetorically to PAS, they're trying to paint a picture of inconsistency, or maybe political opportunism.
So pointing out that DAPSY often positions itself against PAS.
Exactly. They say they're enemies with PAS on one hand, but then, according to MCA Youth, they seem to use similar arguments to attack MCA and MIC, who are, importantly, also in the unity government.
So it questions their loyalties within the current government setup.
It definitely raises questions about their political priorities and maybe their consistency. It's a tactic to sow doubt, in the public eye.
Okay, I see. And then there was the criticism about DAPSY's style. Basically, talking to themselves, self-congratulatory, repeating old tunes.
Yes, that accusation. It suggests, from MCA Youth's perspective anyway, that DAPSY isn't really engaging in substantive debate, maybe just repeating talking points.
And they contrasted that with DAP's own criticism of the UMNO youth leader, Akmal.
While still working with other UMNO leaders within the government, yes.
That highlights a perceived selectivity in their criticism.
But the core of this point seemed to be about MCA's own role.
Absolutely. This is where it gets interesting regarding the dynamics of a unity government. MCA Youth argues that when they speak out against government policies or injustices,
Which they frame as their role as backbenchers, since they don't hold cabinet posts. Right. They say when they do that, fulfilling what they see as their duty to provide checks and balances.
So MCA Youth is saying, hey, this is our democratic right, our responsibility to supervise the government, even if we're part of the broader coalition.
Exactly. And that highlights a fundamental disagreement, doesn't it, about what constitutes legitimate dissent or oversight when you're technically on the inside but not in the driving seat. It's a constant tension in coalition politics.
It really is. So instead of just attacking DAPSY, MCA Youth then pivoted to list things they think DAPSY should be focusing on. Real issues.
Yes, they laid out a sort of alternative agenda, very concrete problems.
What were some of those again?
Well, there was the controversy around the Urban Redevelopment Act that's been quite a hot topic.
Affecting property owners, communities.
Definitely. Then the alleged exclusion of top STPM students from public universities. That always touches a nerve regarding fairness and opportunity.
And linked to that, the commercialization of university admissions.
Yes, concerns about cost and access to higher education. Plus, the bigger picture things. The soaring national debt, which impacts everyone long-term.
And of course, the cost of living. That's probably the most immediate pressure for most people right now, especially with the ringgit's value.
Absolutely. That hits home daily. So by listing these, MCO Youth is effectively saying, these are the real problems affecting Malaysians. Why aren't you focused on these instead of us?
It's a challenge, isn't it, to respond to these specific public concerns, moving beyond just the political jabs?
It is. It implies they want the debate, if it happens, to be about practical solutions, about who's really addressing the people's hardship. It frames them as focused on substance.
You mentioned earlier, does bringing up these specific important issues actually strengthen MCA Youth's challenge, or does it just muddy the waters for the original debate topic?
That's a really good question. I think arguably it strengthens it
How?
because it grounds the political challenge in tangible, everyday concerns. It makes it less about abstract party politics and more about, well, who's got the better plan for dealing with the issues you, the listener, might be facing.
Right, makes it more relevant.
Exactly. It elevates the stakes beyond just MCA versus DAP, framing it as a contest over who's more attuned to the public's needs. It forces DAPSY to engage on that ground, which might be more challenging terrain than pure political sparring.
So it's a strategic move to define the battlefield, so to speak.
I think so. It puts the onus on DAPSY to show their own focus on these practical problems.
Okay. And wrapping up their points, MCA Youth was pretty clear about their own position moving forward.
Yes, they doubled down on their role. They stated they'll keep supervising government policy, won't just follow trends, won't bow to power, essentially promising to be an independent voice for the people, even within the government framework.
Reinforcing that checks and balances role they mentioned earlier.
Precisely. It's about carving out their identity, especially when they lack cabinet positions. It's crucial for their base. And their final call to DAPSY.
Bravely accept the invitation, debate openly, let the truth see sunlight, stop being silent.
Yes, that's a very direct, very public prod. It's designed to pressure DAPSY into engaging, framing any reluctance as, well, having something to hide, perhaps, or not being willing to defend their record openly.
It puts DAPSY in a bit of a corner, publicly at least.
It certainly tries to. It's classic political maneuvering, issue a challenge, make it public, and dare your opponent to respond.
So when you step back from the immediate back and forth, this whole situation between MCA Youth and DAPSY, it really is more than just, a press release war.
Oh, absolutely. It touches on really fundamental questions.
Like representation, accountability, how different communities feel they're being served or should be served by those in or near power.
Exactly. It forces a scrutiny of how political parties, especially within a complex setup like a unity government, navigate their roles. Are they partners? Are they watchdogs? Can they be both?
And how do they balance loyalty to the coalition with loyalty to their constituents and their own principles?
That's the crux of it. It pushes all of us as citizens to think about what effective representation actually looks like in practice. How do we hold all parties accountable, whether they're fully in power, partially in power, or in opposition?
It's a constant question in a multi-party system like ours.
It is, and seeing these dynamics play out, like this challenge between the youth wings, gives us a window into those ongoing negotiations of power and responsibility.
Definitely something to keep an eye on how this unfolds or if the debate even happens. An interesting thought to leave us with, indeed. That's all the time we have for today on Walrus on Wire. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.